Hello and welcome to this one, a 1v1 game played between 3rd Armoured, played by Skate, and he's going up against 2nd Panzergren, played by Axis. So we'll cover the deck reviews, then the map, the matchup, the deployments, and the game, and as always, timestamps in the description. Right, so this is Axis's deck review. He's playing 2nd Panzergren, which is a division we haven't seen him on before, I think. So we'll go through this tab by tab. 2nd Panzergren, pretty meta deck. It's very strong. I play it a lot in tournaments. Tend not to play it too much on the ladder, simply because there's 41 divisions. But the idea generally behind the division is you just you do everything. You've got a little bit of forward deployment. Yeah, you've got sort of normal logi, very nice artillery. You've got heavy tanks. You've got medium. Well, okay, I suppose these are like light tanks. I suppose. Uh, Decent recon, high HP recon, lots of IFVs and stuff in the inf tab, and long range AA, good short range AA, and good air force as well. So the deck has basically always been strong. There might have been one or two patches if they just messed something up totally, but generally it's played a lot, especially in tournaments. So it's a pretty decent all-rounder. Whenever anybody's starting with the game, I recommend them this division because it just kind of does everything, and it's quite straightforward in its execution. Basically, you just buy Marder 1A3s and Leopard 1s. Make sure you've got Eyehawks behind it, and you should be all right. So first tab, got the 3 per card Sultan. So for 10 points more than the 2 per card one, you get smoke and 2 armor. I could have sworn it used to be 3, but maybe I'm misremembering. Could have sworn it was 3 at one point. Maybe it got lowered in a patch when I wasn't looking. Yeah, it's nice. For 10 points more, you get 3 availability, and it's pretty fast off-road. It's even faster on-road, so it's always worth bringing this one, in my opinion. And yeah, you can get the car for 80, but you've already got forward deployed car CVs here, so you don't really need the car. This has a lot more armor. Or you can pay more to get this wheeled one, which can actually be quite useful because it's got smoke and it's super fast. So you can like smoke your way into a zone with a smoke launcher or something, or just drive straight in and pop this and cap it and then leave. But I don't think it's worth losing an availability for, because you see 2, 5, 7 CVs, otherwise it would be 6. And this is nice and cheap, basically. You can just buy 2 of these at the start and not lose too much. Obviously, this would only be 80, but this would be 100. In terms of your supply options, you've got the supply helo, which is more of a team game thing, fob, which is more of a team game thing, and then a big truck, a small truck, and a tracked thing. There's no real point in the tracked thing. Also, it doesn't have its smoke for some reason, despite having smoke here. So you just pay in. So like, it carries more supply, but it's slower. So yeah, it's very normal to just bring the big truck and the small truck, particularly in 1v1. What I will say is only having 2 cards of supply is not great on this division, particularly if you want to keep these heavy guns firing all game, keep all your tanks repaired. You're always going to have loads of guys. So I think there should be a 3rd card of supply, basically. Yeah, so like this, you've got plenty of tanks. Let's get rid of that. It wasn't even in last time. and and then there you go, 3rd card of supply, and that can be the big one, it could be the small one, whatever. But that's how I'd do it. Infantry, so yeah, forward deployed CV, and team games in particular, if you're on Hesse or something, just buy 2 of these at the start. That's how we won our last Hesse 2v2 game, and the one before. I picked 2nd Panzergren both times, and I bought 2 of these CVs at the start, and then we just sat there all game. So, but yeah, in 1v1 can be worth getting the cheaper ones, frankly, and just, being a bit behind on the opener, but can be nice to be ahead on the opener. You buy the forward deployed Milan 2 because it's better than the regular one in that it's got a rank of veterancy. The forward deployment is nice, and this one has a better transport because you can bring it in the Fox Milan, which has its own Milan, but it's a Milan 1. You'll notice yeah. So that's got a better transport, but this has a rank of veterancy without compromising availability, and it's got the forward deployment, so it is very useful at the start. Particularly on a map like Black Forest or something, you can get this set up in a nice spot at the start. Fallschirmjäger, so you basically just bring these guys for like maybe a little bit of forward deployment, but you mainly bring them for the Panzerfaust 3, because nobody else here has the Panzerfaust 3. Then 3 cards of Marder 1A3 Milan. So 5 front armor, Milan 1. Very nice IFV, survives Dragon 2s and so on. And this squad's really, really good for 35 points. I don't think it should be 35 points. I think it should be 40. Because it's got a DMR and a machine gun. So this is like 3 machine guns, which is like 6 rifles, which is like 10 shooty power. In the forest, that won't shoot. The DMR won't shoot. And then he brings 2 cars of just Panzer Grenadiers in cars. I don't think this makes much sense. I would prefer having the satchels for close range stuff in the Fox, and the Pioneer Carl Gustav in the Fox. And the reason is, so if you're in like close quarters or whatever, this is actually not a great squad, because this can't fire because of the minimum range, and it's only got 6 HP. You pay a little bit more, you get satchels, otherwise you're just going to lose all your close range engagements. And certainly, last time I faced Axis, I just went in the forest and he couldn't do anything, and then I won. But he doesn't change it, I don't know why. Anyway, and then yeah, the Pioneer Carl Gustav, nice big squad, also good for town fighting. So I'll link, if I remember, if I don't, please do remind me in the comments and then I'll do it. I'll link the last 2 times I played 2nd Panzergren in a tournament in the description. And it was against really good teams both times. One of them was the finals. And I suppose I've already spotted it for you, we won, and it's because I had these 2 cards. Without these 2 cards of infantry, we wouldn't have won. So yeah. Artillery, yeah, self-propelled mortar for smoke, always more useful than a regular mortar, because so this you have to bring the transport anyway, so it's 70. So for 15 points more, you can stop yourself from being counter-batteried by moving between smoke volleys, and you can just queue it all up, whereas these you have to manually undo it. You have to manually load it in and then manually move it. You can't queue it all up, it doesn't work properly. So this is a great one. Sadly, it doesn't have the smoke, once again, even though there's smoke here. And then, yeah, I really like having these. So I buy 2 of these and I put a CV next to it. And 2 of these can snipe a heavy tank and so on. Really useful, I really do like the 203s. I prefer them to the M109s. I think it's worth that extra point, right? And because we got rid of that tank, right, you can get something else now. Wow. Because I think that's the only place we can put it. So what would you get? You could like max vet that and just get a second one or something, and then you still have 3. Like you could have like 4, and then I suppose you've got a 3rd card of supply now. Yeah, just because there's a point there, not really because you really need it for anything. So there you go. Now or you could just have 1 at 2 vet and 1 at 1 vet, but then this isn't going to shoot as fast as this one, and it's going to mess up your micro a bit. So yeah, you can just do that simply because that slot is open. It's the only 1 pointer. So this is very normal with 2nd Panzergren. You bring 6 Leopard 2A3s, 1 vet for all of them, including the CV. And then, yeah, it's very meta now to just spam Is this a medium tank? I mean, because of price inflation and T55s keep getting better, this is now basically a light tank. Because all the bad packed tanks all got buffed. So, like, T55s are better than Leopard 1s now, basically. So, yeah, it's more of a light tank. Yeah, 2 cards of this just to spam out Leopard 1A5s. And then the Jaguar 1, because the Jaguar 2 got taken out of this division. There's no point in upvetting this. And yeah, the Jaguar 1's got something a bit weird about it, in that it reloads faster than any other ATGM in the game. And it's got to be a bug. So look, reload time 6, reload time 7.2. And if you compare it to the Jaguar 2, which is, you know, allegedly the upgrade, obviously the missile's better, but you'll notice that the Jaguar 1 reloads 2 seconds faster. and one wonders why. Doesn't really make any sense. It just reloads faster than all of them. Any ground-based one, like, so that's at max vet, which is why it's higher. But look, 8 seconds. It should be 8 seconds basically. That one's 12 because it's an IFV. 8 seconds, 8 seconds, 8 seconds. You know, this has been upvetted. 8 seconds, right? But this is 6 for some reason, so it's not actually a downgrade to have this. But you know, second Panzergren players complain anyway. So Jaeger Aufklärer, a really nice squad for fighting recon because it's 9 guys. Used to be 11 sadly, but it's 9 guys. It's pretty decent. And then yeah, the looks for, so basically there's 3 things here which have similar roles, and he's finally taken one of them out. He took the scimitar out. So the scimitar and the looks and the racist. So the scimitar is more of the shooty, right? But the looks is wheeled, so it's faster and has better optics. And then the racist is the most optics one. It's not got any shooty, but it's got the exceptional optics. So basically, you can get away with just having one of them. Pretty sure. I don't know. Do I bring 2 cards of looks? Obviously, a 2v2 deck's going to be a bit different. No, I just bring the 1 card of looks, and then I bring a recon helo because I think they're really useful. So that's how I would do it, because this already has very good optics. So, like, your tanks can have exceptional, but, you know, I'd rather have the recon helo so I can scout an area. I do like my recon helos. And then, yeah, Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer, which I don't bring, actually. And then I think that allows you to have something, because like, you would get rid of this mortar and then you would have something else here, but the idea is you've only got 4 recon, so you need more recon, and these guys go at 100 kilometers an hour with airborne forward deployment, whereas these guys go at 90, so they're not as fast. This does go at 100 as well, so you buy these at the start, but then what's the point in this if you're buying those? Just more Panzerfaust 3s, I suppose, can be useful. AA, so I don't actually bring the Gepard, interestingly enough. Or, well, okay, it depends what the matchup is, right? So I edit the deck depending on who I'm facing, because I basically only play these guys in tournaments now. So, yeah, I took the Gepard out last time and replaced it with the Fliegerfaust, because I was fighting in a town, so I needed the Fliegerfaust. But the idea is this is good anti-helo. Like, it is nice, actually, to have, and it complements the Eyehawk quite well, because this does 9 damage, and then this does an extra 1 damage, and 9 plus 1 is 10. Quick maths. Most players have 10 HP. And then this is for anti-infantry. You just put it everywhere and use it against infantry. You can even down-vet it, but if you're not buying more than 6, then you might as well have it up-vetted. And yeah, you just use it to kill infantry. It's really dumb. You can just sort of slow walk them all over the place. It's very silly. I think honestly it's best to have them at no vet and just buy all 9 of them in the game because of how broken they are. I think that makes sense. But yeah, if you're not actually buying them, then you might as well vet it once. So between the Hot 2 and the Hot 1, I prefer the Hot 2 because it's better at killing people, but it is a bit more expensive. And then air, so you get the Tornado for like long range engagements. It's not so bad now that they've boosted the range on the Skyflash. Super temp. And then this is for anti-helo, so you've always got to open with a fighter on this division, otherwise your forward deployment gets killed. So this is the fighter to open with because it doesn't compromise your deployment. It's very good against helicopters, which is usually what people used to use to stop second Panzergren openers, and then they gave them this, and it's like, oh, okay. HE2 is a nice bomber. The AT is okay against tanks. I mean, it misses a lot, but the idea is it's quite survivable, so you just, you know, try and keep it alive, and then the seed for preparing the ground for your AT and your HE. So that's it for second Panzergren. Switching to his opponent, we've got Skate, another guy who mains 1 division. So this is his fully optimized 3rd Armoured division. It's interesting to see this, actually. I've not seen this before. Because, yeah, if you look at the leaderboard, sadly I've gone to rank 2. He has 272 games this season as 3rd Armoured. So that's in like the last 3 months, maybe last 4 months. Was it February? Blimey, it's September. Why are we here just to suffer? So yeah, he's since the season wipe, he's played 272 games as 3rd Armoured. Hopefully he gets well soon. So this is how he plays 3rd Armoured, basically. Very slow opener, and then he'll just take trades for 30 minutes, and then he'll push in like the last, well, okay, 25 minutes, and then he'll push in like the last 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, depending on how well it's going. I played against him myself when he was playing 3rd Armoured, obviously. I'll link that in the description if I remember. There's lots of things I should be linking in the description. So it's quite surprising that he only brings 2 cards of supply, given that he wants 40-minute games. And he's got loads of tanks to heal up, so that's actually quite surprising. Yeah, that is really weird, actually. It's 1 point. 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, well, you kind of do need this, otherwise at the start you're buying an M1A1 Abrams CV. Which are these? 2 points. How do we get him the 3rd card of supplies, bros? It's interesting he brings the cluster one and not the HE one. I mean, this also does have a limited HE effect, but it's just like, why would you need to cluster a tank in this division when you are the guy? Interesting. Interesting. These are 3-pointers. You don't need 12 scouts, especially if you've got all this crap. So that would be what should go. And then you can get your 3rd card of supply. I actually prefer the smaller trucks, but obviously he plays a div a lot, right? So yeah, cheapo CV, he buys 2 at the start. I've not seen the game yet, but I mean, I played against him. He buys 2 of these at the start to secure ground. And then, yeah, supplies. I've got that bug again. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah, okay, cool. So, we have available units, apparently. Basically, this is half the price of this. And 3rd Armoured has a weak deployment to begin with, so you might as well get 2 of these, rather than paying for 2 of these, which should obviously be twice as much. Infantry, so fire team dragons in the Bradley. This is more of a learning experience. I'm not going to point out literally everything. I do like this unit because you put the military police vehicle with it, and then you can buff up these tanks even more. It basically gives them effectively 1.5 vet. But yeah, he brings fire team Bradleys in the upgraded Bradley with 5 armor. So it's like a better version of the Marder 1A3, I suppose, but it costs a lot more, like 30 points more, something like that. Fire Team AT4 in Humvees, so these guys are just cheap AT4s, 6 men, 35 points. And you just put them all over the place so that the enemy can't do breakthroughs because they drive a vehicle and you shoot them with this AT4. And then 2 cards of Engineers. He does like his Engineers flash and Novet. He doubles them up. There's always 2 of them with like one of these guys in front, basically. His micro's pretty good. I mean, obviously it helps that he just does one thing over and over. Obviously, you build up that memory, right? That muscle memory. That's obviously a sport thing, but, you know, it's a similar kind of concept. You know exactly what to click. You know where everything is. You don't waste any time. You know what you're doing. You've played all the maps, you know, tens of times. Well, 270 games divided by, what is it, like 8 maps in ranked. So you've played every map at least like 30 times. You've probably seen every matchup with your division multiple times. So you know what to do. So yeah, I mean, you can build it like this if you want. I don't really recommend it. I think you should, because obviously you haven't played, what was it, 272 games of 3rd Armoured or whatever. So generally people bring a bit more infantry in here, maybe an infantry tow too, and the MP patrol and the MP vehicles so that you could boost your tanks a bit, and the recoilless rifle's nice. So maybe 1 fewer card of Engineers, and if you were to bring the Engineers flash, most people don't have the micro to double them up and make sure they never get shot to have them at no vet, so just bringing them at 1 vet can work. Artie, so this is okay, so he's changed the deck since he played against me, because when he was against me he fired this thing at me, and it's not here, so he must change it. So yeah, two howitzers and a mortar. It's very normal. Self-propelled mortar for the same reason, right? Stops you from being counter-batteried. Tanks, so his M1A ones are mainly the CV ones, right? And then he's got 5 M1A1HA Abrams. Usually people would uh, bring fewer of these so that they can bring more M1A ones. Just like one card fewer for more M1A ones, but you know, this can work as well, clearly. And yeah, the CEV, which he uses to burst down infantry, you've got to micro this thing really well. It can survive a TOTU, but it's super slow and it doesn't have smoke, so if it gets caught out, it just dies. Because the second or third round will kill it, right? But the idea is that it's got a very high alpha damage, a very high burst damage, and then it reloads for ages. So he's pretty good at microing these into situations where it can just shoot and then immediately go behind something, and your infantry unit just immediately becomes useless after it's been shot by this, because not only do you lose 3 HP, but you also take 432 suppression, which means you are you are probably routed. But you'll note that it's got not a great range, 1750. Oh, we found a tank gun with 1750 range. That's not the T-34. Somebody did ask me about that a long time ago. Last week. So, usually you'd only bring one of these, but the idea is this is for flank defense at the start, and then this is for putting with your tanks, so it's got very good optics. It shoots TOW2s at you with a mediocre stealth. So they do have different roles, so you can bring both. And then, yeah, you add 2 cards of scouts. You can bring them in the ACAV. It's just basically you don't have airborne forward deployment on this division, so this is your opener. And that's probably why he had 2 cards, so that he can just buy a bunch of them. But obviously they don't have AT, so you've got to rely on these. And then this one has Hellfires, and this one doesn't. Simple as that. It's got better optics as well, but it costs just under 3 times more. AA, so Chaparral is your longest range anti-plane. It's not that great, to be honest, these days. It used to be an absolute force of nature, but it used to be like 85 points and it fired super fast. Now it doesn't. It's just not that great. It's decent. Like, obviously, if you see it, don't fly over it. It will kill you, but they're just not that amazing for 135 points. And then, yeah, Pivad, so this is good against infantry as well, good at bursting down helicopters, because a helicopter can dodge this. If this sets its sights on you, you are dead. And then Stingers, which you may or may not want at vet. Helis, so he actually has 1 Apache, which is interesting, and then 4 Hogs. The advantage of the Apache is the Hellfires, but this also has Hellfires, right? And then 6 ASFs, because he doesn't want to lose that air superiority, because if you do, then you've only got close range stuff protecting your tanks, which means your tanks are going to die, and that's kind of the cornerstone of the strategy. And then he brings the cluster one instead of the HE one, which is quite surprising. I guess if he just relies on the helicopters to kill the infantry, and this is if there's an armoured breakthrough, right? And because he's only got 1 Apache, I suppose it makes sense. So yeah, 2 players who, they're the masters of these decks, basically. When I think 2nd Panzergren, I think Axis, and when I think 3rd Armoured, I think Skate. These guys, I mean, Axis has been branching out a bit, and Skate does play other stuff in the tournaments because he has to, because everybody bans 3rd. But generally, these guys, they like these divisions, so we're in for a really good game. Right, so with that out of the way, let's talk about the map. I prefer the red side because they have these 3 grain silos which allow you to see further than atheists, and they are quite useful. And there's also a church tower here which makes, defending Papa alright. I've heard people say it the other way though. More recently there's been a push to say that the blue side is the good side, because the road network here is apparently much nicer, because look, the scouts start here, right? Obviously the game has gone for 20 seconds, but they'll started back here. Nice road straight into Alpha. And let's say Blue loses Alpha. They fall back, and they have this covered route all the way back into Alpha. If Red loses Papa, it's basically lights out for Red, because there's a big gap here. You can bridge it with smoke, and obviously it's not always lights out, but it's actually very hard for Red to get back into here, especially given that because the reinforcements here, it's got to take this weird road. And basically, if Blue could get up to here, right, then blue's basically taken Papa because you can't reinforce it anymore because blue will shoot you. And you're like, okay, smoke here, but you know, it's quite a long line, so you actually have to smoke here, which means you're smoking your own guys to get in, which isn't great, and then these guys are exposed and they die. So blue actually does have an advantage in taking Papa, but red has an advantage in, for example, well, here it's kind of even, but I would prefer this position to this position, right? And yeah, like, you know, red has this. With a Milan 2, that's not so useful because that outer circle there's 2,500 meters, which is more than the range of the Milan 2. But with a Tow 2 or a Conkers or something, you can shoot the guys when they're here and all the way down here. Like, you'll get a shot off them here, and if they're coming down here, they'll actually get hit. So the Milan 2, you won't actually be able to do it in time because it'll only start aiming about here and it'll just keep going, unless the guy panics or whatever. So in terms of the divisions, 2nd Panzergren is always strong, and 3rd Armoured in 1v1, it's seen as one of the weaker ones, basically due to lack of player skill. It's not a weak division by any stretch of the imagination. The issue is keeping the tanks alive. You've only got a few heavy tanks, and this is kind of why they've fallen out of favor in the 1v1 meta. And if those tanks die, then you lose. Whereas with a division like 2nd Panzergren, you've got this infinite horde of Marder 1A3s and Leopard 1s. And you still have some heavy tanks. You still have the Leopard 2s, which aren't the best thing ever, but they're alright. And so, like, 3rd Armoured's like quite an unforgiving division to play. It's quite I would say it's kind of boring. You just kind of, because you've got to buy these tanks, and it takes ages, and you've got to keep them safe, so that means you've got to buy loads of planes. So it's a very slow, methodical div. 2nd Panzergren, you can just sort of chuck stuff into the breach for 40 minutes and never run out. But is also kind of seen as a somewhat boring div for that reason. But yeah, I would say in the meta, 2nd Panzergren is a more reliable pick in 1v1s than 3rd Armoured. Because yeah, if you lose those heavy tanks, you just lose the game. Whereas 2nd Panzergren, there's nothing... You know, if you lose something, you just buy another one, basically for everything, except like the heavy arty, I suppose. In terms of the players, Skate has like 200 and something. I said it in the deck review, and you guys don't skip it, so you already know. He's got like 270 something games as 3rd Armoured this season. Axis plays 2nd Panzergren a lot, but he has recently started playing 101st Airborne as well. So, but either way, these two guys basically main these divisions. So it's very high level play in terms of the divisions. So yeah, let's cover the deployments. We've got Skate opening with a picket line consisting of these Tow 1 units, which get smoke now, so they're pretty useful. That's a nice spot, because you can actually shoot down here. If it's a wheeled vehicle, it won't hit in time, but it might just be enough to scare them off. CEV, so that's, you know, anti-infantry burst damage. 1 Bradley. So he's just defending Lima. I think he's basically, obviously I haven't seen the game, he's just going to be defending a lot, and then he'll try and push in at the end. That's usually how he plays it, because that's kind of how you have to play it. This thing's really cost efficient since they buffed the Sparrow range for 185 points. It's really nice. So yeah, you buy one at the start to make sure this doesn't die, basically, because this is 120 point Hellfire launcher, which you use to kill enemy forward deployment. And the idea is 2nd Panzergren players should always open with a jet if they're going to do this, because otherwise this is going to happen to them. Having said that, I don't see the jet, so I guess he didn't do it. So yeah, the Phantom, Bradley with the Dragons. So yeah, Bradley with a Tow 2 shooting down there. This thing again, M150, so that's just... Okay, so he assumes that this tracked recon vehicle can beat the enemy wheeled forward deployment in because of this helo. Because 2nd Panzergren doesn't have forward deployed AA, so you have to cover it with fighters. If you don't, you're in for a world of hurt. Then a cheaper scout to look at Papa. 2 fire team AT4s, just to, as we spoke about in the deck review, they're just for holding ground. Cheapo CV for Bravo Alpha. It's interesting he didn't actually buy the second one for Ligma. But I guess it's just a +1, whereas this is 3 points on the board, right? Another CV. And because like this is basically your medium tank, because you don't have any M60s or anything, so this is your medium tank. And you just have to rely upon the fact that like it can't beat other medium tanks, but what it can do is if it goes up against one enemy medium tank, is it hits it once and it's routed or stunned or very low cohesion, and then this survives. You don't kill the enemy tank, but you win the engagement that way. Yeah, 80, sorry, anti-infantry helicopter scouts for that's an interesting spot. And Bradley CFV, which, you know, this is the actual anti-tanks, it fires the TOW2s. Switching to his opponent's deployment, we've got Axis playing 2nd Panzergren. I've never seen him on this one before. And he is also... No, here's the CV. Forward deployed CV for India Pepper, so presumably he'll be ahead at the start, especially given that he's bought this CV for Oscar. So he should be ahead at the start. And then we've got Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer for that left part. As I spoke about, defending Papa is actually kind of difficult. Well, you do have this, but this can't interfere in this side of the map, basically, because you put one guy here, and if you're here, you get shot. So basically, it's kind of common for... Obviously, he's not doing it here, but I've lost a lot of games to people who just rush Papa at the start and forget about mid. Put a blocking unit here. Like if I'm on the red side, they'll forget about mid. I'll take mid with loads of guys, and then they'll just punch a bunch of guys down here. And if they take Papa, well, then X-ray becomes untenable anyway, because with Papa, they go here, and then you can't reinforce. So, yeah, it's kind of annoying. So, yeah, maybe the map isn't as one-sided as I thought. Anyway, he's forward deployed rushing Alpha with Fallschirmjäger, 2 Milan 2s, one for the church and one for this building. So that's interesting. And for the forward deployed CV, right? Another Fallschirmjäger for Alpha, and that's going straight down the main road, which is the worst idea ever because everybody's going to see him. A lot of that is to do with the road network, so you got to like manually specify for it to... Because there's no gap here. If you try and spawn units here on the red side, they will come down this road because there's no... Sorry, there's no road here. There is a gap there. For mid, we've got Fallschirmjäger, Milan 2, and the Recon. The Milan 2 is actually trying to get in that building. And the Racist. Behind that, we've got 2 Zwillingers, although they're actually going on the left. A Jaguar 1 for sort of more of a central position. 3 Marder 183, so this is actually all going over here. And a Gepard, that is for mid. On the right, we've got a Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer for the grain silo, as we spoke about, and then 1 Zwillinger in case a helicopter comes knocking. This guy's got the Panzerfaust 3, right? So let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. This is currently my sole source of income, which is why I shield the channel so much, because I need it to survive. I am trying to finish a PhD at the moment. Yeah, so Hellfire's open up, and he has to stop his whole deployment, because he didn't buy fire. So... yeah, what can I say? Smokes with that one. You see that these missiles, they're kind of hard to see, and they're super fast. And then, yeah, this Fallschirmjäger has to unload as well, because he was sort of going the wrong way. There's no AA here either, so this is like the big... I'm kind of surprised he made this mistake, to be honest, because he does play a lot of 2nd Panzergren, and this is like... it's a very common thing with 2nd Panzergren. They do their forward deployment without AA, and so you just... spawn a plane and a helicopter and you stop his whole forward deployment. This one obviously has managed to get in, but yeah, I'm quite surprised he didn't open plane. So what generally happens is if you beat your enemy in the first tick and he doesn't have a plane, he will buy it. Okay, and this does cost a lot more, and it's got more ECM. They will buy a plane in the first tick. So what you do is you buy another ASF in the first tick. That is very fortunate. He fired 3 missiles and all 3 hit there. So takes out that cluster plane, and yeah, that should have been a 2nd fighter basically. If he'd bought the 2nd fighter, he would have won that engagement. So just something to keep in mind. Obviously I'm giving away the strats here. And yes, the AA's finally shown up. I'm giving away the strats here, but the strat is if you're against 2nd Panzergren, open 1 plane, 1 helo. The plane's just to protect the helo. You can also open 2 planes if you want, but sometimes they just don't open 1 plane and then you've wasted your plane. And then in the first minute, buy the second fighter because he will buy a. If you like, it's just think about the player psychology. If you've gained air superiority in the first phase, your enemy's just going to buy a fighter and lob it at you. They basically always do that. So, bit sloppy there. Could have unloaded or smoked or something. Getting hit by these TOW2s, which are very very powerful. Tornado trying to come around for the hog here. And it got a crit there, which... What's going on with Emberson, man? He didn't miss a single missile, and that one got a crit, which made that die in one hit. Because that's only a 5 damage missile, but it did 6 damage. It came up with a crit, so... Yeah, okay. Anyway, it's a very good rocket launcher, so yeah, you don't want to get in range of that rocket launcher, so that was a little bit sloppy there from Skate. Early arty out from Axis. And he has managed to get in here, so yeah, Skate buying that cluster plane, I think, has completely screwed him over. Like, obviously there's the thing with, you see the power of the CUV there, just immediately makes this guy not very useful. Now he's dead. And now he's sort of getting air bullied, right? This does have 2 top armor, and this is not cluster, so it does survive there. I suppose this Milan 2 could be brought up, but then if this thing shoots it, then it's just going to die. Yeah, obviously there's nothing you can do about RNG, but what you can do is stack the odds in your favour, so he should have bought a fighter instead of that cluster plane, and I think things would be very different here, because he would have beaten that Tornado, and then that HE2 wouldn't have been purchased, so this never would have happened, and that Tornado wouldn't have killed his Helo here and his Helo here, and made it so he can't use this one, because he would have fighter superiority, so he would be able to use this one. So now he's been forced to buy an Eagle. Axis still going for that bombing run. I don't know if he's seen this yet. This is a very scary plane. Skate choosing to not look him in the eyes there, and it's got not a very great turning circle, but he should get an extra thing. So the reason he did that is because he assumed there was an Eyehawk here. So there you go, he does end up getting him. He assumed there was an Eyehawk here, and that Eyehawk would hit him if he came in this way. There is obviously not an Eyehawk here, but against 2nd Panzergren, usually there is, so I think that was a good idea, and he still got the plane. Obviously, he reduced his chances of getting the plane, but, you know, his missiles hit and so on. So, yeah, I don't know if Axis just didn't see that or what, because he could have just evac'd. As soon as you see the Eagle with your plane and you've not got, you know, fighters up, you evac, so he's got 2 Tornadoes out now. But he did lose his bomber there, and he's only got 2 HE bombers, so it's a big loss. But yeah, red on the +3 because blue never captured Ligma. Here we go. So that was not landed. It's a little bit sloppy against you know, because if you've not got air superiority, that's 120 point Helo he just lost there. And it should have been landed, and it was landed at one point, so he took it off when he didn't have his fighters up, so sort of forgot, I suppose. This could be put next to the oh, look at that, he's got the Panzerfaust 3 on it, so he gets the CV there, and he should get the Bradley as well, because yeah, Skate, he's still moving forwards. Okay, he's realised his mistake. This has got nice accuracy on it though, 75%, so you can also use these to strafe. They don't have that many rounds, but another Helo? I promise you guys, they are good players. He's rank 4. So there you go. So now he's bought 2 ASFs, but he's not going to catch up. I mean, it is faster, but this actually has less range but more accuracy. The early AMRAAMs did have less range than the later Sparrows, which is what a Skyflash Super Temp is. It's just a Sparrow derivative. Obviously, it's British, so it's better. It probably costs 3 times as much. And anyway, yeah. So Skate not in a great position here, frankly. I mean, you'd kind of expect 3rd Armoured to have a rough start. I actually think this is a really good map for 3rd Armoured, because there isn't actually that many. There aren't that many angles to cover. You've got this lane, and this lane, and there's like the map is actually quite narrow because obviously there's this, but like because of the water, like this might as well not be here. Nobody ever comes over here. If you try and send a unit down here, down, and then around with amphibious or something, you have to bring a supply with it, or it runs out of fuel before it gets there. Because, but yeah, I mean, Skate, he's got the advantage in mid, that's for sure. but he can't really reinforce because of this Milan 2. But he has managed to stop this, which means that the tick will stop now. Because now it's going to be even Stevens. Sorry, I've got a very itchy nose. I don't know how to fix it. What was I getting at? So yeah, third Armoured's really good on this map because there's not that many angles of attack, so you shouldn't lose too much in the opener. But yeah, it just didn't work out for him here. Certainly the early air trades didn't go his way, but he shouldn't have bought that cluster bomber. And Axis has done a good job of, using his early game advantage, right? And like this unit's done a huge amount of work because it got the Bradley there, which means because if Blue just puts a guy here, well, you can't actually come down here anymore. And you saw that at the start of the Martyrs. So second bomber's out, and he's protecting it with 2 planes this time. You'll notice that Skate has 0 AA units. Oh, hello. So, okay, so you'd expect the 2 tornadoes to beat the 2 phantoms. I suppose there were no casualties. That one actually got out, despite flying over the Gepard. Yeah, so why they do it, because even I, as a caster, didn't notice that. You just fly your plane over here somewhere. You don't want it over here, because then if he spawns an Eyehawk, it can hit you. But you just fly over here somewhere. Or over here, right? And you just wait for the enemy bomber to come in, and then your plane's already there. And so that, and if the enemy's not paying attention, as I wasn't, and Axis didn't really notice either, although he noticed before me, you come in from the sides, and you're just behind him, and you just kill him. So it's a very powerful way of doing things. I'm not sure what this is. Oh, he's trying to kill the arty. He's trying to kill the arty. So has he spotted it? It's firing. Yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. He's trying to kill the arty. This has a move order queued up, so it is about to move. I think it's going to get out, because look, now it's fast pathing down the road. This is why you keep them on the road and you use the fast path instead of the regular ones, and look at that. Gets out there. And, Axis, he never saw that coming, and it just didn't kill him, because he practiced good techniques of stay on a road and fire, shift, move, fire, shift, move, fire, shift, move, because that would have been a huge kill for Skate, because basically 2 of these together can one volley Skate's mega tanks. This isn't the strongest one, but the strongest one also has 3 top armor. And otherwise, Axis is really going to struggle to kill the HA Abrams, in my opinion. But yeah, Skate, he's on the +2 now. He gets side shot by a Milan 2 there. Surprise! That shouldn't have survived, actually. Shouldn't it have died? Milan 2 would one-shot up to like 10 armor. But this survives, so... Okay, well, there you go. It was probably a near miss, so it dealt partial damage. I mean, I don't see what else it could have been. But yeah, Skate's actually on the +1, although that's going to go away. This Falchimega finally got caught out. But yeah, if you're red, you need to make sure that you hold this. Because if you lose it, you lose Papa by default. And it sort of cuts both ways. If red has this, it becomes harder for blue to hold Alpha. So HE2's back, and it's going to be back every 150 seconds. And there goes another infantry squad. So Highlander stops the tick, and over here there's only 1 unit. So Skate bought 2 RT, and I don't think that was a good idea because he's got no front line. I think he should have bought a bunch of Stingers and Chaparrals for over here instead, because this takes time to pay off, and the main problem he's got right now is all his stuff keeps getting killed by air. Okay, so the Hog does get retreated pretty much straight away there. This is at 2 vet, but he does get out because he reacted immediately. This has fuel on, which means the fuel is going to drain the supply, and he's only got 2 cards of supply, so that's very important actually. Got to turn off the fuel, particularly if you only have 2 cards of supply, because they don't need the fuel. Anyway, you see the power of the CUV. It is pretty decent if you can use it properly. I just can never use it properly, so I don't bring it. So, Tornado coming around. Presumably it wants to loop in for that Hog. Okay, never mind. And there's still no AA here. Skate's relying entirely on his fighters. And so far that's not been working out for him. So Fire Team Dragon does not one-shot the Marder 1A3 Milans, as you saw there. I don't know if that was a partial hit or what. You'd expect the Tornado to win that fight. It's got 10% more ECM, and it's Ligmas are better than the other ones. It does cost 75 points more. No, hang on, it's 65 points more. And yeah, Axis without the AA is really struggling here. This is slightly less than intelligent. Why didn't he just finish this off? Hasty making wasty here. Wait, what? Why didn't you just kill this? Why did all three of those guys have to die for one Bradley? Anyway, not looking great for Skate, to be honest, because this Panzer Grenadier, once it gets in here, it's going to start shooting this. And I think it would one-shot it. It's got very nice accuracy. And there it goes. So, yeah, Milan 2 goes down there, but yeah, Skate just suffering from the lack of units problem. Although Axis has decided to sell his transport and unload his Ihawk in the middle of nowhere. Not behind anything, so this cluster I think was coming for this actually, but immediately gets hit by the Ihawk. Don't know what else it would have been doing there. Maybe it was going for the R2. But he's seen it, right? And he's going to try and kill it? No, he's going for the CV. I guess that's a more urgent problem. Okay, but Axis has realised his mistake now. He's actually bringing this back up. And he's moving it behind something. So in Broken Arrow, if this was behind here, it wouldn't shoot properly. But in Warno, it'll shoot just fine. So you actually kind of want it behind these tree lines, because then the enemy can't see it. So Bopar being sent around there, I think it's going to die to this Eagle momentarily. Fallschirmjäger goes down, as you might expect. You know, to the arty. Like, these zones are super small, so it's not like he doesn't know where it's going to be. So the Bopar has been spotted. Has it? Yes, it has. He's now pathing towards it. And, okay. So, they're going on the racist now. That's good. The Americans fighting for liberal values, right? And the double tornado HE's back. There is a Chaparral here now. But it's not in position to stop the HE. These guys tag that helo, but... Oh, what's this? Well, the... Okay. What? Wow, he actually got out there. Huh. Alright, well that was a series of strange occurrences. Oh no, this is dead. So, and Axis only brought 2 tornadoes and he's just lost both of them. So, yeah, sometimes it be like that. He definitely knows about this. I don't think there was any bad RNG there. It was just the decisions the players made. So Axis sending the fighters way out from the bomber meant that they couldn't cover the bomber, but the bomber actually got out. Neither of the fighters did. And then he dragged it across here, and that Chaparral had been purchased. Bit sloppy there, loses a guy in his transport. You'll notice that these have cover turned off and they're just looking down the roads. They can shoot down the road without automatically pathing into these trees, which would break the LOS. Race is probably not going to make it. Yeah, so you'd expect Axis to bring a CV up here. I'm not sure why he's got the zone. He's got a Sultan here. All he has to do is send this in and then buy the replacement Sultan later. Okay, he's gone for the other option. These guys you want to kind of spread out a bit. Obviously he doesn't know about this. But yeah, it looks like he will get center, which is called X-ray apparently. So ABOLX. Interesting. And, you know, people say, well, 3rd Armoured doesn't have enough infantry. He's got plenty. The main issue Axis has here is that he refuses to bring anything other than Panzer Grenadier. I suppose he's got the Fallschirmjäger. So he doesn't have the 10 HP squads, which would be super useful here. Just keep losing guys in the transports as well. The Ihawk, yeah, it's just in the open, in full view of this line of trees. So down it goes. These guys... Oh! Does actually manage to catch those out. He's taking huge losses on the front line. Looks like the M109 is going to survive. But yeah. Wasn't there a CV here? Oh, okay, it's just slow. My brain's too fast, basically. So, Axis needs to buy another Ihawk. Basically, now, Blue knows there's no Ihawk. But has he actually still got a bomber? The cluster one that was here, it made it out, didn't it? So... he should still have one bomber. But yeah, Axis just losing a massive slew of units there. A lot of it just comes down to this pathing. He's like sending them here and they're getting shot. H.A. Abrams on the field now, and this is very difficult to deal with. Tornado just sent out into the ASFs. And now it's dead. And he's got two F-16s left, two close-range F-16s, and two Eyehawks. The Eyehawks, if he just puts an Eyehawk here, all this stops happening, basically, because it can shoot way out over here. But, yeah, basically this is the third armoured kind of motto, right? That you buy the HA, once you've got air superiority, basically wait for your opponents to make a mistake. And this thing is practically unkillable, unless it gets side shot. So if your micro's good, you should be fine. Red's finally sorted this out. Does need a bit of AA there. Like, weren't there two of these a second ago? What happened to the other one? Oh, the M150 probably killed it. But yeah, you see that this is just gonna kill stuff, right? The pen's really high. So these IFVs, which usually take two hits to kill, just die in one hit to this. Which makes it very, very strong. And so yeah, you send it forward, send it back, send it forward, send it back. The main thing is you got to make sure you got AA with it, or you use the fighters. So I do think he is lacking AA, right? This should be up here. You should have two stingers, basically. Two stingers, very useful. And yeah, like it basically, if you're paying attention, it won't die. But if you're not paying attention, then it will die. So you got that's the issue with third armored. One, you gotta not lose in the early game, and then two, you gotta babysit these tanks all game. So it can be quite a frustrating experience. And you'll note that red is currently on a +4. So blue needs a CV for this. He's lost his cheapo ones. Artillery just firing into the quagmire here. Basically can't miss. About to hit something. Get 2 units there. Might even get a third. Okay, realizes his mistake. Realizes his mistake. In the meantime, the M109s, they're just not as good. They are 2 per card though, right? And they're a bit cheaper. So this thing has its work cut out, basically. It's sort of like a sniper rifle that you bring once you've got the rest of your supporting assets. I do think it's reasonably well designed, actually. Some people argue that this is too weak. I think it's fine. You just got to make sure you don't... Because, like, look at that. There are some divs that just can't do anything to this. Because, yeah, this has 5 armor. It'll just die in 1 hit. So, yeah, you use smoke as well to... you can do the Wargame Red Dragon way, where you just constantly keep it in a cloud of smoke. So this is the main answer to that tank, basically. A volley of that will kill this, because it's got 3 top armor, same as the M1A1. It used to have 4, but they lowered it to 3. I don't know why. Anyway, the tick continues. So what's the plan here from blue? Like, he just doesn't have many units. I think Axis has done a good job of attriting him, basically. Straight on the mortar. That's how you deal with smoke mortars, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sick of having this conversation with people. Oh, it's OP! Just whack it, and then it's dead, right? So yeah, even if it is self-propelled, if you're not paying attention, or if your enemy's paying very good attention, because these are at 2 vet, which means they aim in 20 seconds. And basically, if you give a smoke and move order, and I don't think he'd given a smoke and move order, he'd just given loads of smoke orders. If you give a smoke and move order, it will fire 2 volleys and then move, which means that it's got about 30 to 40 seconds stood there. And so you should be able to counter battery it. It's obviously a lot easier to counter battery the ones that don't move at all. And particularly at that range, this is going to have a field day. So, yeah, going on the Milan 2 team there. So, it's deceptive in that, because, yeah, +2 is bad. But actually, he still needs to hold on to it for 10 minutes. And so that's the joy of third armoured. If you can just drag people into these mega long games, you will actually win. What I will say is that I think, blue needs to, like, either come for this or sort this out super quick. Because if he takes this, it's all it does is stop the tick. He still needs to take this one. And, yeah, 2nd Panzergren's a division that's really hard to, attrition to death over 40 minutes, because they just don't run out of stuff. So, I think Skate is killing a lot of red stuff, but similarly, he has lost quite a bit of infantry, which he keeps having to rebuy. HE2 going for the... What? Oh, he turned the bombs off. He just wanted to use the guns, and look at that, no AA. No AA. And then that was the last. That was the last bomber for blue. The second cluster there. I'm not sure what it was going on. Probably the arty again. The F-16 got it when I wasn't looking. And this is sort of what we spoke about, actually. So there were two Eyehawks he wasn't expecting there, basically. And I said, yeah, if you put this here, then he can't do this, because you're going to get shot. Obviously, you know, this is a replay. And so, yeah, okay, so this guy has 27 seconds before he gets whacked. In the meantime, that bomber, did it drop its bombs on anything? No, but it's gone. Maybe it got evac'd by that cluster guy, right? Because these will only do like 1 damage to the front armor of this. The main issue is if it routes, it might show its side armor. As Full Breach used to immediately kill the tank, it doesn't do that anymore. This guy needs to pop his smoke, he's about to get wasted. Actually, I don't think he can save himself. The arty's getting him anyway. Yeah, he's dead. So, this is the kind of gameplay that the third armored player wants to happen. He wants you to run into him and lose loads of guys. I've got a game where I played Canada into him, and that was sort of a similar thing. So these are going on the tanks, aren't they? He really wants those tanks, because this is the best way to kill him. It's just skate nose down so he's moving. But look. Right? This can't even shoot. It says holding fire because it doesn't have the penetration to even shoot back. Because it'll deal less than 1 damage. So, yeah, these things, pretty cool. Eagle flies a little bit too close to the sun, although these can't really do too much. Has he ran out of Fallschirmjäger? That's the... Oh! M1A1CV has been spotted here, and it's in a forest, although these are reload, so they only fired 1 round? Okay. He must have interrupted his last volley and then told it to shoot here, and when it does that, it will just shoot the remainder of the volley, and then it will fire a whole new volley after it's reloaded. F-16 goes down, but it accomplished its mission, which was to kill the 120-point helo, the last one. So he still has the 40-point ones. Might be 45. But, yeah, you see the issue Skate's got here is he needs infantry in here, really, because even though these can't really be killed, unless they get side shot, they do lose their cohesion really fast, and then they just start routing and stuff, which makes them vulnerable to just dying. Also, you can get all sorts of crits by just getting hit constantly. What happened there? Was it a side shot? Was it a crit? Because usually if it's a crit, it comes up saying... No, because what crit would that even be? It lost like half... It must have been a side shot. It must have been a side shot. So, yeah, that's the issue with pushing with the tanks. You got to be super careful with them. And when you're on the clock, it's very difficult to do that. Yeah, that was weird, wasn't it? It hit it, and it sort of died in 2 stages, but... There's no crit I know of that does like 5 damage, so it must have just been a side shot and it just kind of lagged a bit. I'm not sure actually, because where it says stunned comes up in the same place. Or maybe there was actually 2 things shooting at it and I didn't see this. Yeah, so like... What could it have been? It's not a plane or something? When they were doing the casualty reports in World War II, you know, they would send guys, like the Allies, would send guys, you know, after the battle's over, they would walk around and they'd be like, you know, okay, this is a dead German tank, what killed it? And they would look around and like, okay, so there was an anti-tank gun here, so it's probably an anti-tank gun. If they couldn't find anything around the tank, right, no big craters from artillery, you know, no friendly positions with anti-tank guns nearby or anything like that, no treads of friendly tanks, they'd just be like, oh, a plane probably got it, because, you know, what else could it have been? Anyway, attempt to hit that, but if you just move, right, you should be alright. You'll notice he's turned off the machine gun. The reason they do that is because if this runs out of ammo and you give it a shift attack order or whatever, it will try and engage with its machine gun and it will just trundle towards the enemy and die. And the way to fix that is to switch this off. The disadvantage of this method is if somebody actually gets to you, then he's going to shoot you and you don't be able to shoot him because your machine gun's turned off. So yeah, going for the chaparrals there, but you see he... Okay, so he interrupted the volley on this, so there's only 2 rounds on that. But he's actually manually repathed it, otherwise it would try and do a whole... It would try and finish the volley there, but... Anyway, the M1A1's been spotted again. But because he interrupted his volleys, it wasn't a full volley there. Like, he could have killed that, actually, if it wasn't 2 rounds. And look, now it's just going to reload and do the whole next thing. So that is the disadvantage of interrupting volleys. You just got to babysit it, otherwise it's just going to sit there, because this is now just going to waste that whole volley unless he notices it's going to happen. Okay, he's noticed. HA comes... Oh, no! That's a 21 pen side shot there. Yeah, 21 pen will one-shot 7 armor? I think it might be 8 armor. But that was 8 armor, and it didn't get one shot, so... 6 armor's 20, and so 7 armor's 21. Yeah, so yeah, that would one-shot 7 armor, so it would one-shot this. No, hey, that has 8 side armor. Okay, they must have 8 side armor on their HA as well. Yeah, so basically, Skate just lost too much of his stuff. That early air trade wasn't fab for him, but he lost... he played a little bit too fast, I suppose. He lost too many guys. And once you lose a few of those tanks, well, it's basically lights out, because you just don't have the time to do anything. So, you know, I don't know what to say. He was sort of forced to put all his guys here, all his eggs in this basket, because Axis kept attacking him here. So, if he didn't put his guys there, then he would get messed up, which meant that he couldn't really attack here, because 3rd Armoured, not very good at attacking in multiple places. And then Axis just got him with the side shots and the artillery, and then, like, it's like the way Skate's been attacking this is kind of weird. Like, so he should have focused more on taking this first, because then but when he did try and take it, he just sent 2 tanks forwards. He didn't send any infantry forwards. So basically, he should have sent all his infantry into here while holding this. Because obviously, once you've got these buildings, he can only hide here, and your arty can kill him. And then once he's got his infantry in here, then he can put his tanks up here, and then he gets the zone. But instead, he sent the tanks in first, and one of them died, and he's sending the tanks in here where they can be shot from here, and even, you know, like from here, for example. And, you know, Red owns all this, so he can side shot him from all sorts of places. Like, you know, he could have put a Jaguar 1 in here. I'm surprised he didn't, actually. And yeah, I mean, this is just over. Is he going to surrender, or is he just going to keep running at him until the timer runs out? But yeah, I mean, he lost about 5 minutes before this, basically. That was just kind of like a last hurrah thing. In the meantime, you know, Axis, he did lose quite a few guys, but, you know, he didn't lose anything irreplaceable. Although, what is it? Well, okay, losing the 2 fighters wasn't fantastic, but then, because you were only fighting here, he just bought his Eyehawks and that sorted it out. He just used that seed to kill the healer. Obviously, there's nothing on 3rd Armoured that can be seeded, and he does know that. So, yeah, really high-level play from both guys. And there's the surrender. So, that's, yeah, interesting game. So, as you can see, Axis rank 7 with 85% win rate, and Skate rank 4. So these are top level players. Obviously, everybody makes mistakes, right? I make mistakes. I'm rank 1. Actually, I think I'm rank 2 now, because I made a big mistake yesterday. An irreplaceable mistake. I lost like 10 games worth of elo. But yeah, you see the power of the artillery in these kind of longer games, right? So yeah, these two have faced each other before. That time, I think Skate was on 119Y, because in the last season he played 119Y all season, which is a very, very similar division, but it is better. It is better because it has better early game, so it's got medium tanks. Well, it's got light tanks in the form of TO-55s, and it's got loads of recon Bradleys. It's got forward deployment. It's just like a way better version of 3rd Armoured, actually. It's quite impressive how much better it is. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that game, and I'll see you in the next one. GG.